your host, Dr. Tomi Mitchell from the Mental Health and Wellness Show. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Michelle Niemeyer. She is a former litigation attorney turned wellness advocate, dedicating her time to helping professionals reclaim their time, energy, and joy. After over 2 decades in law, Michelle experienced severe burnout, which led her to pursue holistic health coaching at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. She founded Michelle Nehemiah Wellness to share her transformative journey and empower others facing similar challenges. Through her signature program, The Art of Bending Time, Michelle equips clients with practical tools to enhance productivity, reduce stress, and cultivate a balanced life. She offers personalized coaching, engaging workshops, and impactful keynote speeches, all designed to help individuals and organizations thrive without sacrificing well being. Michelle's approach integrates elements of neurolinguistic programming, positive psychology, and stress management, providing a comprehensive strategy for sustainable success. Whether you're a lawyer, entrepreneur, or educator, Michelle's insights can guide you towards a more fulfilling and harmonious life. With no further ado, Michelle, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. I always like to start our show with you sharing a little bit about yourself so our listeners can get a feel for your heart and so they can understand, like, okay, what happened? Like, we have a lawyer turned wellness person. Like,
Right.
share with us a little bit.
And that is not that common. It's very
No, it's
surprising
not
to people. There are a lot of people who are lawyers who burn out and they just continue,
to be burnt
or
out.
maybe they quit and they retire, but they don't change careers.
No.
And so let me explain a little bit about it. It's interesting. I did not go to the health coaching school planning on being a health coach.
Fair enough.
Um, I went to the health coaching school because after I thought I had dealt with my burnout and I had started exercising and eating right, and I'd lost 35 pounds and I was in this great place, I had to go to the hospital because I had this horrible pain.
Okay.
And I thought I had appendicitis. It turned out I had an autoimmune disease called primary biliary cholangitis, PBC, which is a really scary, rare, somewhat serious disease that affects the bile ducts in your liver. And so that kind of threw me into this giant research hole, I'll
Mm-hmm.
call it. I
Mm-hmm.
won't say a tailspin. I won't say I had done a lot of medical research as part of my job as a lawyer
Mm-hmm.
and literally went into it like a deep dive mode of researching autoimmune diseases and this particular one and how do I deal with it and what do I do? And I did two major things. One of them was that I contacted a friend who was a naturopath and said, help me out. I know I can go to the doctor and they'll give me drugs, but is there
Mm-hmm.
anything else I can do? Because the medical world will tell you on autoimmunity, there's no cure for this.
Yeah.
We don't know what causes it. There's no cure for it. And there's this drug we can give you, which will help. And in the case of PBC, it legit helps. It's not like steroids that just bring down swelling,
Mm-hmm.
but it's actually, it prevents, it's like Drano for your bile ducts, and it prevents clogged cholesterol from holding your bile in your liver and causing it to be eaten, literally eaten up by this acid, which is the bile acid, right? So because of that, I did a raw foods diet. I did a lot of things. And then I decided to study at IIN to learn from these doctors who were some of the same people I was researching and reading all their stuff were lecturers at the IIN health coaching program. And so I was like, okay, this gives me access. I can learn what these people are saying. I can figure out some of this stuff. And I did that. And I also learned about coaching. And in 2018-19, I created some programs for lawyers, which are being sold by a company up in New York that sells continuing education programs.
Mm-hmm.
And, lawyers do a lot of freebie speaking for those kind of events, those kind of things to get exposure. which I did. They still keep calling and asking me for more material, and they're still using my programs, and they're getting like rave reviews. I was shocked at like how great the reviews were. And this woman keeps calling me. She's like, nobody does this stuff like you do it. I'm like, cool.
That's
But
awesome.
I need to be paid if I'm gonna do, you know.
Yes, 100%.
So as much as I love to do it for free, there was a point where I was kind of like, you know what? I would love to do more of this coaching and speaking and educating stuff and help people with this, as opposed to being involved in a system as a lawyer, which we were talking about before we came on the
Yes.
recording. There's a lot about the legal system which is very broken and which lawyers don't have any control over. And frankly, it had gotten so frustrating to me to be part of it that it was really giving me a hard time to continue. I didn't want to do it anymore. And it wasn't about burnout anymore. It was literally about making a choice of, do I want to be part of this system anymore?
I
And
feel you.
I,
I made the same decision a few years ago when I left a system that just was, it was beyond burnout. And,
yeah, and so
and
I
couldn't
just made the
enable it
decision,
and be part of
I
it.
don't want to, I could choose to stay in that broken system, but I
Yeah.
was done. I'd had enough. And I exited with like the best result in the best case with an awesome client who I got to help. And then I walked away and I started doing this new thing, which is the art of bending time.
Mm.
And so let me explain what that is and why it is. So I knew, and the things I did for lawyers going back several years now, I wanted to help people who were busy professionals who get overwhelmed and overworked and burned out. I wanted to help those people not have that happen to them.
Yes.
And so I sat back and I went, okay, who was I at 35 or 40 when this started? And it
Mm-hmm.
probably started in my mid 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I was diagnosed at 49, but symptoms were showing up probably 5 years before that, if I tracked it back and went, okay, there's these various things. It
Mm-hmm.
was at least 5 years that I probably had this before I knew I had it.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, okay, what did I notice? What was going on with me back then? Like when it was early on or before I got it, when I could have maybe stopped this from happening. And what was going on was I realized that I always felt like I didn't have time for
Mm.
anything. A friend would call and ask if I wanted to go to a movie or I wanted to go out on a Friday night or whatever. My immediate knee jerk response would be, I'd love to, but I don't have time.
Yes.
I would sit there spinning my wheels at work and not getting things done. And I would procrastinate to the last moment. And then I would pull all nighters or I'd work until 2 or 3 in the morning. And that was like a standard operating procedure
Mm-hmm.
of how I did my work. I actually bought a course, the first thing I ever did, where I purchased something to try to help myself because I knew I needed to fix something. It was a time management course.
Yeah.
And it was a time management course because I thought I needed help with time management, but I really mostly needed help with lifestyle things that were turning into what I will call time sucks
Mm-hmm.
that prevented me from being able to be effective. So what the art of bending time does on a lower level, on what I call I have a sort of an entry level, the first few steps are what I call busyness detox.
Mm.
And in that part of it, we do a few really important things. And in my mind, those are like the base that helps with everything else. One is that we get really, really good clarity about who we are and what we are lit up by.
Yes.
A lot of times when you're getting burned out, you start feeling detached, you start feeling numb, right? You kind of feel dead inside. You don't have joy in the things that used to make you happy. You just kind of feel like you're disconnected a little bit and you're not really responding to what's going on around you the way you used to. and you're not feeling the happiness, you're not feeling the joy, you're feeling the negativity, you're feeling the pressure, you're
Mhm.
feeling the burden
Yeah.
without feeling the blessing that is in that, sometimes in that burden, right? I mean, everybody's got things they have to do, and there's also great blessings in those things we're doing.
Of
And
course. It's
some
like,
people see that blessing and they feel so good, and others are like, oh my God, I have to drive the kids to the drop off lane again this morning, right? Like
mhm,
it's just the, and it really, it's a lot of it has to do with your mindset. It has to do with how you see these things, and it has to do with recognizing what lights you up. So if you start recognizing again, because you've forgotten how to feel that when you're
yeah.
burned out.
100%.
So the first thing that I have people do is I literally have them do like it's kind of like a guided meditation
Mm-hmm.
where we start remembering when was a time that you felt really alive.
Yes.
When was a time that you just felt like you were so happy, you couldn't stop smiling. You were so excited about something. You were so proud of something you accomplished. And what was it? Did you learn something new? Did you break a record on a sports team? Like, what was it you were doing and who was around you? And what were you feeling? What were you seeing? All that, like to get into it really in your mind and your body so that you really feel it. And then we go into that deeper and we go, okay, where are the patterns here? Right? Because for some people, maybe they're just a super physical person, and almost all those things are like they were running and jumping and playing, or they were in the water, or they were, doing things that were very physical. Other people, it might be that they were creating art, or they were learning something and they overcame a challenge that was just, I have a friend who's really into math, and she gets excited when she talks about math, and I'm like, I glaze over, right? But
Same.
but for her, like that, like
Yeah.
solving a problem is really exciting to her.
Yeah.
And that solving a problem or creating a solution to something, or somebody who likes to build things and they've built something and they made that and they can see it, and and that's really exciting and cool for them.
Yeah.
You have to find those things, and then you find a way to work those things into your day, whether it's at work
Mm-hmm.
or at home or through a class you take. Do something, like proactively do something to make sure you're getting those moments
100%.
and you're
Yeah.
recognizing them.
Yes. I like it. The foundational piece, you have to connect with your North Star, connect with what lit you up before you filled it with a bunch of other
Yeah,
junk.
exactly. I
You
call
know?
it sparks. Those things are like sparks, right?
Yeah,
Like those little
exactly.
things. And they can be really little things. They
Yeah.
can be like I go out every morning. I have this habit. It's my morning ritual. I take my dog for a walk. We go to this place that I just adore that's right across the street. They make my dog tiny pancakes, which is
Oh.
amazing. Um, and the people are super nice, and there's little birds outside, and they come and try to take food off the tables, and it's cool. Like there's just something about the ambiance of this place. And then we go and we walk along the water. I live across the street from a downtown Miami park, and there's water there.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the reflection of the light on the water, and sometimes there's boats, or once in a while I see a manatee or a dolphin or whatever. Like just experiencing those little, I mean, those are little things that could just be part of the background, but
Yes.
making a point of seeing them again, making a point of really recognizing, wow, you know what? Like, this is awesome. I get to do this every morning, right?
Yes.
And I could be like, oh my God, like, like it's so easy to fall into this negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
But really, we all have those positive things too. Just the
Yeah.
scent of the coffee and or when in my law practice, writing things. I love writing something when it all comes together,
Yes.
or speaking and teaching and seeing that, like something click in somebody's eyes, and you see that recognition of, oh
Mm-hmm.
wow, oh my
Uh-huh.
God,
Yeah.
right?
Stop and smell
And
the roses and enjoy your
yeah,
senses. That's what I'm hearing. The scent, the touch, hearing, like just be present.
all of
Biggest
it,
gift.
and being in the moment,
Yeah.
right? And once you're doing that, I mean, the other thing is we all generate energy, and we all have the ability to be in the moment when our bodies are healthy,
Yes.
right?
Preach.
So
Yes.
I don't preach holistic wellness so much,
Yeah.
but I do have a deep dive into
Yes.
be hydrated,
Yes.
get enough sleep,
Yes.
things you can do to make sure you get quality sleep
Yeah.
versus tossing and turning all night, eating healthy food, treating your microbiome like it's your friend,
Hmm.
you
Yes.
know, and 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 getting some exercise. And it doesn't have to be hard, beat yourself up
Just
exercise. It could be
movement.
walking every day.
Yes. Yes.
And, just doing some things that are basic health things that help you generate energy.
And that's like all the
So,
pillars of lifestyle medicine, like I said, sleep, real foods, um, nurturing relationships is one, like hydration.
right.
That's so basic, but most people don't recognize it, or they don't give it the value it needs. They don't give it the time. They so
Yeah.
busy. They don't have
Yeah. And
time.
so, and here's the thing, people feel like they don't have time.
Yeah.
But if you take half an hour in the morning
Mm-hmm.
to do some kind of movement,
Mm-hmm.
to get your body going, to
Mm-hmm.
get your head in line with your body, to
Yeah.
be like ready to come into your day with energy and with
Yes.
purpose, and you go into your day in that space, you're going to probably be able to get the same amount of work done 2 hours faster.
100%. There's studies that prove it. Like
Yeah.
it's
Versus you go in and you're kind of tired and you're dragging your feet and you
sipping your
sit over your
coffee, your
coffee and you
substitute for all the other stuff.
scroll through a bunch of crap on your phone. And by the
Mm-hmm.
time you're done with that, it's like an hour later. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, where'd that hour go? You
Mm-hmm.
could have spent that half hour and you would have
Investing
gained,
in your day.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of the concept of bending time is literally getting more out of that same, everybody's got the same number of hours in a day,
Mm-hmm.
but not everybody gets the same amount of work done or the same amount of play done in
Yes.
the day, right?
Yeah.
And it's not all about working and it's not all about like producing.
Play.
It's,
It's about compromise.
I love you're seeing a lot now of people saying we're human beings, not humans doing.
Mm.
And, it is great to be an achiever and it's great to get a lot done and it's great to succeed. But if that's all you do, it's
You're
a
missing
recipe
out.
for burnout.
Yeah.
And
It,
it has it's a tax on everything in your life. So,
and attacks on the body too. Like you mentioned your diagnosis earlier too. That was likely, we know that stress, constant stress,
oh yeah.
unmitigated stress can cause
And
inflammation, trigger things that are in our biology, give it the right environment to flourish.
right.
It's not a good
And
thing when these
you
things flourish.
have, we know now that a lot of these diseases, whether it's autoimmune diseases, whether it's things like heart disease and
Hmm.
type 2 diabetes and things like that, to some degree they may have a genetic component,
Yes,
but those genetic components they now know can be turned on and off.
exactly.
So with
Environment,
epigenetics, we know
exactly.
that you can literally turn those genes off by changing your lifestyle.
Exactly. And it can't be under, like, we have to recognize it's interesting. I'm not sure, I can't remember specifically which group. I'm not going to call anyone out per se, but instead of for example, with lifestyle medicine and, like, let's say obesity, their now first line is actually for some of them drugs instead of lifestyle, which I hear it, but I think it's like, I think it's wrong. You need the foundation
Yeah.
of a healthy body gets restorative sleep, and that whole sleep hygiene is a whole nother topic, you know.
Oh yeah.
Movement, whole foods, fiber, like, not plastic, ultra processed junk.
Right. And so many people are living on junk.
Junk.
And it's funny because I didn't think of myself as somebody who was completely clueless about nutrition, but I was. I was raised in a house where my mom felt like she was serving us healthy food,
Mm-hmm.
which meant that at breakfast we had cereal and
Mm-hmm.
orange juice.
Mm-hmm.
So we were drinking, cow's milk on
Sugar coated
sugar-coated
cereal.
cereals like
Sugar coated
Captain
cereal.
Crunch and stuff, and it
Yep.
had, vitamins added, so it was
I know,
healthy.
right? In big letters.
And and then at lunch, I would typically eat whatever the school lunch was, which
Hot
was
dog.
garbage.
Pizza.
And at dinner, we ate pretty healthy compared to most people, but it was like, some kind of a meat, usually broiled, because my mom was very concerned about her weight. So it was all about like no fat, low fat,
Mm-hmm.
broil the meat, boil the vegetables, no added fat to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I left home, I didn't eat like that and I didn't know how to cook. And I was living on things like I'd make myself grilled cheese, or I'd have Kraft macaroni and cheese, or I'd have pasta.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for a long time. And I didn't drink water
Mm-hmm.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
I was that person who woke up and had coffee in the morning, and then I started drinking Diet Coke, and then I drank Diet Coke all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I pretty much didn't ever drink water unless there was no other option.
Mm-hmm. And that's many people. You're not alone, but
And
yeah.
no, I mean, I think about it now and I'm horrified. Like I literally, I don't think I've had a soda in probably years,
Mm.
but I, I've changed so many things because of doing what I did to reverse the autoimmune condition, which I was able to reverse the damage to my liver from a stage 2 to a stage 0 of this disease.
Beautiful.
And, as far as I can tell, it's probably in remission, knock on wood,
Mm-hmm.
everything's cool. But I did it by so many things, I can't even tell you what it was. I learned how to reduce stress. I learned how to think and behave in an optimistic mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to, like I said, eat differently, get enough sleep, all those things. Get rid of a lot of environmental toxins in my home. I don't use like fragrances.
Mm-hmm.
In my ex-husband used to be all into the air fresheners. We had all these plug-in air fresheners all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use any of that stuff. I clean my floors with vinegar, and it makes it, I think that stuff makes a difference too, but who knows which worked or which of that constellation of things all work together,
Well, we do know a lot of the
you know?
fragrance of they disrupt a lot of things in our bodies, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of toxins too.
right.
You know.
And microwaving in
Oh, microwave your
plastic and
plastic, your plastics in the microwave.
yeah, I mean, I got rid of all of my
Tupperware,
cookware that wasn't good for
the
you.
wrap. Yeah, the Korean. Yeah, the
Yeah, all that.
yeah. You're right. And if we look back at nutrition, a lot of the things that we did weren't healthy, and even back then, the food pyramids were very off. It was like 12
Yeah,
servings of carbs at the
right.
bottom,
Right.
or
Yeah,
some
eat all the bread. And I
eat
have
all
a I
the
have a
bread.
massive gluten allergy, so I'm like, "Oh yeah, all the bread and
Yes,
pasta. That's awesome." And the thing is, I never knew that until I did an elimination diet and then I added it back and it
I
made
hear
me
you. I feel
so
the same way.
sick.
I
I
always
didn't
used to,
realize that I was living in a state of chronic inflammation for years.
yeah, I used to jokingly say when I eat bread, it finishes rising in my belly because I feel bloated. It was, but or right, like it was just yeah. But our food is very different. It's very GMO, but
Yeah,
we do your best, and it's additive of the different pieces, right? It's not just pure food. You need sleep, you need water, H2O,
right.
you
And
need
you need to
all
move your
movement,
body. I mean,
move.
I don't know how your education was when I was in school. We learned that there were these things called lymph nodes, and they were like this mystery body part because they didn't really explain what they did,
Oh,
or that it was a system, or that it was a system without a pump. And the thing
oh,
people, like to me, it's a fascinating concept that most people don't understand is that your lymph system takes out the garbage, so to speak.
mm-hmm,
It removes all the toxins
mm-hmm,
from your cells,
mm-hmm.
but it doesn't have a pump. Its pump is your muscles.
Gotta
So
move.
when your body moves, when you're using your muscles and you're moving your body, is when your lymph system can actually work. And if you just never move around much, you're literally like your body is not eliminating toxins.
Well, same thing with our veins. They need the muscles around them to
Right,
contract, like in your calf muscles, you need to move for the fluid blood to be moved up against gravity to be recycled. So our body
right,
requires us to move.
right,
People who lay in bed all day, we know they get ulcers and all
right.
pneumonias and
So
all
it's
kinds
not
of,
just about weight. It's
yeah,
not just about muscle building for strength.
yeah.
In a sense, I mean, it's about literally making your cells work
Your
properly.
system, your entire system needs movement. Like it
And
just,
you're polluting yourself by
yes,
not moving your body
100%.
and not getting enough sleep and not doing the things that need to be done. So that anyway, that helps in the bending time thing because it makes such a huge impact on your ability to focus and on your ability to get things done and to be present and not scattered, disorganized, maybe brain foggy, depending, because that
Yes,
also happens when you're real, when when you're in that mode of overly stressed, not living a good lifestyle, not sleeping well, all that, brain
yeah.
fog starts to happen too. And you end up spending half your time looking for your keys, right?
Well, what was I doing again? Oh, a pile of mess on your desk. So yeah, so
Yeah.
to our professionals who are listening right now, who are probably like, okay, you got me there. This this is my life. What can they do, like starting today, or even for their work tomorrow, whenever, to stay more organized, to not be distracted by all those pings, to keep things
Yeah.
like in boxes, like in order. Like,
Sure.
how do you
And
reckon? What do you
okay,
recommend?
so I have I have this character I use in my
Mm-hmm.
program. I call her or him Time Suck Ninja.
What's that? What ninja?
Time Suck Ninja.
Oh, nice. Time suck ninja.
And your goal is to be the Time Suck Ninja.
I like.
So
Okay.
you want to protect yourself from wasted time. You want to learn how to cut it out. You
Mm-hmm.
want to learn how to like maneuver around it, right? You're a ninja.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of things you can do. So I have two categories of things that I talk to people about.
Okay.
One is what I call internal time sucks.
Okay.
These are things like looking for your keys all the time because you got brain fog.
Mm-hmm.
They are like scrolling your phone because you're self-soothing, because you're
Mm-hmm.
stressed and you don't want to do that next thing because it's going
Mm-hmm.
to be hard or it's going to be awkward or you're not comfortable or you don't feel competent in it or whatever that might be, right? You
Mm-hmm.
don't want to make that phone call because you don't want to have that person say no to you,
Yeah.
whatever that is. Um, the next thing is so that's there are ways you can take care of that. Take that app off your phone if
Mm-hmm.
it's something that you don't need and you just keep looking at it. Turn off notifications. I don't have notifications on for anything ever. And, one of the first things that I found it was just so annoying was when, emails started popping up in your face and not just
Yeah.
existing in the background. And so I don't even open my email except at certain times when I'm going to look at my email intentionally.
Yeah.
And then I bang through it, and most of it's junk,
Yep.
and I throw that out, and some of it
Unsubscribe.
needs to be
Junk.
dealt
Yep.
with.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do first is I do this pass through where I just literally go delete, 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 delete. And then I put stars on the things that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of it, I might look at it and go, yeah, whatever. I don't highlight that in any way.
Yep.
I've stopped trying to organize emails because there was a time in my life when that I felt like that was helpful.
Put them in folders, you mean?
Yeah, but
Oh,
then I realized that
you
putting it
don't
in
need them.
folders just takes a bunch of time
Mm-hmm.
and you can search for things.
Yep.
So I don't do that anymore. I don't waste my time with the folders.
Yep.
But I do star things that have to get done.
Mm-hmm.
And then, same with things like phone notifications. My phone is on silence all the time. People must hate me. They try to call me. If they try to call me 99.9% of the time, they're not going to reach me. And they can either text me or they can leave me a voicemail. If they're not, if it's not important enough to do one of those things, it's probably not important
Not
enough
good
to
use of your
pick it up.
time. Mm-hmm.
So I don't. and this was true even when I was practicing law, and a lot of lawyers have this idea that you have to always be available. No, you don't.
Nope.
You don't. You don't have to always be available. And if you make yourself always available, you're opening yourself up to people who want to take advantage of that. But if they know that you're not always available and you tell them, listen, I have to focus. When I'm doing work, I need to have focus time, and I need to do that work and to think well and to do really good quality work for you. I
Mm-hmm.
need to have focus time. So I don't always answer my emails right away. I don't always pick up my phone. So if you call me, please leave me a message. I'll call you back as soon as I'm available. And nobody's ever complained about that.
And I think
Why
that's a
would
good
they?
strategy, honestly, because I think because of cell phones, people think it's, oh, you didn't get my message? Like I just sent you a message. What, like 2 minutes ago? Like people are big
Yeah.
wanting instant gratification, which is not realistic. Like
Well,
it's
and the research says that when you're interrupted, when you're in a flow state kind of
yeah,
activity, like you're reading, you're writing, you're doing something creative, or you're doing something that requires thought,
yes,
it takes 15 minutes to get back on task after you're interrupted.
and
So
do
think
that a
about
dozen
the
times.
impact on your time that that causes.
Exactly.
It completely blows up your ability to get things done.
100%. 100%.
So so that's one thing. And then the external time sucks, and that's external is things like these notifications
Mm-hmm.
to a degree. Um, it's things like your environment.
Yeah.
For me, I'll give an example, and this is, often we have a lot of us are working out of home offices now,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're in an office at work. I'll give you two examples. I had an office in a law firm where my door was across from the kitchen.
Oh.
Nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a law firm that had a culture, they had this open door culture. And
Mm.
they talked about it like, oh, well, we have an open door culture. It's like, what does that mean? Well, you're not supposed to close your door, because if you do, they think you're looking for a job, right? Is really
Mm-hmm.
what that came down to. And they wanted to feel like, you should be able to walk into somebody's office and ask a question or whatever. And that's great. It's nice to have that, except
Productivity
when
goes down.
everybody in the entire firm stops at your doorway when they're going for a cup of coffee or whatever. So I ended up putting my computer on a credenza behind my desk.
Mm.
And if I was working at my computer writing, I had to turn my back to the door.
Mm.
So nobody was going to interrupt me when my back was to the door, and they could see from the door that I was focused on writing something. Like nobody was going to bug me then.
Smart move, ninja.
It was, I mean,
Yeah.
but there's things like that you can
Yeah.
do. You may have noise issues where you work. And sometimes that's as simple as listen to some music that isn't too distracting in your headphones. Or you may have glare. Like I used to have, I installed new blinds about a year ago. My apartment has a window right behind my computer. There's a window, and it's a western exposure.
Mm.
So at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun comes in and it's literally glaring in my eyes.
Mm.
And that would mean that I had curtains, and the curtains weren't really that great at blocking the light.
Mm-hmm.
And I would end up taking my laptop and walking out of that area and working either on my couch or in my den.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I was sitting on a couch where my lifestyle expectation is kind of, oh, it's couch time, time to turn on the TV and watch Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Or I just wasn't as focused. My cats are jumping on me, my dog's barking at me. Like everything falls apart when I go to the couch with my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
So you work around that, right? Like everybody has those things. So you find ways to get rid of those outside distractions. It may be that you have a boss who loves to drop projects on you on
Friday
Friday at
afternoon,
four
that
o'clock
too.
in the afternoon,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, Deal with that in whatever way that might be necessary. You might want to keep a list of all the stuff you're already working on and say, I'm doing this and this and this, and this is when they're due. And I'm not sure how I can fit that in. Do you have any suggestion about how I can balance that with all what
Mhm.
I've already got? I mean,
Yep.
you can help them with that, and that can sometimes make that better versus somebody just feeling like it's okay for them to drop something on your desk and walk away.
100%. The
You
art of
know,
saying no, but
some
with
of us have had
grace.
that experience
Yeah.
and it's not a pleasant one, and you have to know how to deflect with grace,
Yes.
but find a way to deflect if you have to.
Yes. And then have them be part of the solution,
Right.
right?
Because if, and especially if they're your boss, you can't just
Yes.
say, I'm
I'm not
sorry, no,
doing
I don't
that.
want to do that.
Yeah, no.
You know?
I often like to say, talk about how one wants to be able to maintain the level of quality that they've been able to produce so far, and adding
Yeah.
another project will compromise that. And that's just something that you're willing to do for your own
Right.
personal sake and also for the company's reputation. You know what I mean? Like quality,
Yeah.
quality, quality, and the risk. But yeah.
Yeah. That matters. And
Mhm.
sometimes what matters too is getting to know people really well on a human level, not
Yeah.
just a work task level.
Yeah.
And, I tell people all the time, I truly believe that work-life balance is a myth.
Hmm.
And it's not just a myth, it's a destructive myth.
It's integration. You have to be able
Because
to integrate.
in a lot of environments now, it's people don't feel comfortable. It's like they've gotten so kind of beat up about having to have work-life balance that they feel like, oh, well, I shouldn't talk to my person on my team about their family or their activities or their kids because that might be intrusive.
Yeah.
And so it creates this barrier. And when that barrier exists and you don't have that knowledge of each other's lives and what you're like and what you're excited about and what you're doing on the weekend and that kind of thing, you can have this attitude that like, oh, well, I have this and this and this going on, but this person doesn't, so I can just give that to them and they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you might not have, you don't know anything about them.
Exactly. So humanizing each other, like we're all humans. We all have responsibilities
Yeah.
outside the workplace. They may
And
have an
respecting,
ailing
like,
parent they're looking after or something. Or
yeah, and it's not just, like parents have obligations with their kids. People
mm-hmm.
who aren't parents have lives and obligations too. And
100%.
that was something I ran into a lot at my first law firm I worked at, was that I wasn't married and didn't have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally had somebody walk into my office one day and on a like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, this guy comes in my office and he says, I need you to go to Maine. I lived in DC at the time.
Holy
I
crap,
need
that's
you to go to Maine. The flight's in 2 hours. And I need you to attend this hearing for me. My kid's got a baseball game.
oh. Oh.
You don't have any kids,
Yep.
right? And I mean, the irony of this was if he'd led this with, it's a Supreme Court of Maine oral argument, and it's a big deal, and it's going to be really cool to be there,
Mm-hmm.
which it turned out that's what it was. I
Mm.
would have been happy about going, but I was told, I need you to go because I've got kids and you don't, basically.
Mm-hmm. No, I
You
agree.
know, your time isn't worth anything and mine is because my children are more important than your whatever you do on a Thursday night,
And you
you
know
know?
what? That's unfortunate. We live in a world where there's that hierarchy, but then at the same time, if there's a woman who says, I gotta go to school with my kids, they'll say, aren't you serious about your job?
Right.
You know what like it's
But a dude who wants to like be the
oh, it's
coach
a
of
good
the
dad.
baseball team, it's like,
Last
go
minute.
dad, go
Did
daddy, you're helping, you're
you
doing
didn't know about
something,
this till just now, right?
right? Yeah, right. He's like the coach on the team, like he didn't know he had a game
Right?
on a Thursday
Right?
before the Friday hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, that's all stuff that you learn how to work through that. And
Yes.
then you create habits that reinforce all those things we've talked about.
Yes. And you stack those habits, so things that are already ingrained in
For
in
sure.
your schedule, then associate things with them so they can
Yes.
stick and it makes it easier.
Habit stacking is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it helps me a lot. It really does. Because we wear a lot of hats. And I think for those for those who aren't in the high stress professional world, lots of obligations. That's not just a one and done. It's like responsibilities for, I know with children, it's decades. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's not a little deal. Like,
No, and it's a priority and it should be.
yeah.
And and there are ways to balance that priority, and there are also ways to include your kids and involve them in ways that they
Oh
see
yeah.
mom working, and they
What?
see,
Yes.
there are things you can do that can help with that. I mean, obviously you can't have your 3-year-old helping write your marketing materials,
Nah.
but but there are things you can do to include them in pieces at least of these things. And when you're doing that, they're seeing this example.
Oh
They're
yeah.
learning a habit of their own, maybe, that helps them.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I get my kids to do things, whether it's shredding old bills, you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, sometimes it's
little
silly
things.
stuff, right? But it's things that are saving you some time and it's
Yeah,
helpful.
exactly. Put paper in binders, or when she's old enough, she'll be on payroll. And my daughter's like, "Mommy, I'm going to be the janitor at your office." I'm like, "Yes, sweetheart. You're going to help mommy clean up the office, and I'll pay you a little bit because it's going towards your college."
There you
But
go, right?
but yeah, they have to learn. They have to know.
And that's frankly, if for self-employed people, entrepreneurial people in the United
Mhm.
States, you can pay your kids and
It's
there's a certain
15 grand a
amount
year,
that's
I think.
not taxable.
Yeah, same in Canada. Yeah,
It's like
it's yeah.
$15,000,
Mm-hmm.
and it's awesome. I mean, if you
Yes.
do that, and my sister's doing that sometimes with her kids, and it's going toward their college.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the plan. So yeah, getting them involved, but communicating and learning how to advocate for oneself. I think it's
Yeah.
practice, this the art of negotiation.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
courage to speak up. But if you
Right.
connect with your vision, the what sparks you up, then it's like it makes it a lot easier dealing with this, cold crazy boss or difficult
Right.
person because you're
Because
like, I
keep
get
in
to do
mind,
it.
like, basically, you're going to use that as your North Star.
Yes, exactly.
You're going to make sure to get those sparks every day.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you're going to, like, a lot of people who get burned out stop seeing the part of their job that they enjoy. They stop
Yeah.
seeing the little things that are fun or that they enjoy aspects of it. Maybe as they've gotten promoted, this happens to a lot of people, I
Yeah.
think, they get promoted out of the stuff they like and they
Yeah,
start
that's
doing
true.
stuff they don't like they start having to do
Report.
spreadsheets all the time to report things, and
Hmm.
and it just feels like minutia and it's not fun for them.
Hmm.
And you need to make sure you find a way to get some of that part you like still and not be like gobbled up by
Hmm.
tasks that you don't want to be doing.
Yeah,
And a lot of
so
times those are tasks you can delegate.
yes. So there's a team behind you. You have administrative tasks,
Right.
you have the juniors, there's systems in place, there's automation, there's AI, there's so many
Right. But
tools.
a lot of us aren't willing to delegate, and
Yeah.
that's something that it's important to learn. And then the other piece of this that I always have people do this goal, it's a goal setting exercise. This is sort of the ninja level stuff.
Yeah.
We get into what I call a SWOT analysis. I have people come up with 3 big goals: a
Mm.
personal goal, a business goal, and then whatever else.
Yeah.
And these are like 3 to 5 year goals, big goals.
Mm.
And I have them look at that, and I have them look at what are my strengths in that goal? What do
Mm.
I already have? What
Mm.
have I already accomplished? Do I have the license? Do I have the education? Do I have
Yeah.
the financial capital I need? Whatever it is. What are the weaknesses? What are the gaps? What are the things I have to learn or to get or to save for? Or do I need to hire people? Whatever we have to do there. Then you look at the opportunities that goal is going to bring you
Yeah.
and the risks of it.
Opportunity
Does it have
cost.
opportunity risk?
Hmm.
Does it have, you know, is it like you could go bankrupt because of it if it
Hmm.
fails, or you
Hmm.
could lose something, or if taking your attention off this one part of your business might cause you to not be able to provide as well the services you provide, and now you'll lose your customer base because you're
Yeah.
trying to shift to this other thing, whatever that is. And then when everybody, when they go through that goal, each goal at the end of it, I tell people right now, don't think about it. How much do you want it? 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And this is after they've done a deep analysis.
Hmm.
You would be shocked how many people tell me, oh, I don't know, 5 or 6.
That's not a good reason to do it.
And you're like, okay, if it's a 5 or 6, why are we making this one of your 3 big goals that you're
Mm,
focusing on?
exactly.
And
Well,
and what I see a lot of, and I'm sure you're a counselor,
yeah.
what I'm going to say here.
Yep.
People bring these goals along from childhood,
Yes.
or it's something that their parents put on them. It's an expectation from their family. Maybe they think they have to get a master's degree because their mom and dad always thought they should have a master's degree, or
Yeah.
that's what they said in school.
Yeah.
Well, to succeed, you need a master's degree, but yet they've far outstripped success by the terms of that,
Yeah.
right? But they still think they need the master's degree, and they're plugging away and they're taking a class every semester or whatever, spending a bunch of money and time, and they're not that interested in it. It's just literally taking time away from other things that could make them happy.
Exactly. And then they get that jobs with like starting pay 15 to $18 an hour.
Right.
Masters required and 3 years of
And
experience.
and and they came and they were doing something that they were making $50 an hour, and
Right?
they're like, wait a
What
minute,
happened?
right?
It ain't nothing.
So it happens all the
Yes.
time.
Yes, it does.
And so one of the things that I see this happening with a lot of people, and they're like, when they let go of that goal that they've been, as I say, they've been carrying it around their on their back like Santa Claus with his
They
bag, right?
inherited
With
it from
this
someone
big
else.
heavy burden,
Yeah.
and they're beating themselves up. Their self-esteem is affected by it
Mhm.
sometimes because they haven't done this thing they think they need to do,
Yeah.
or they think they need to lose 10 pounds, and they've been losing the same 10 pounds every year in January for
Yeah.
like the last 10 years, and then they quit, right? I
Hmm.
mean, when are you going to finally just say, okay, I'm going to eat better and do healthy things because I like myself,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to beat myself up and start like this cycle of joining the gym in January
Hmm.
and beating myself up and being sore and then quitting.
Yep, exactly, exactly. Again, that goes back to the foundation, like you mentioned. What lights you up? What is your goal
Right,
versus like family expectations, perceptions? Was it from a scarcity mindset back then? Was it with limited understanding? Like you said, do the research, understand why, what's the opportunity cost. People don't often look at that. There's like, oh look, there's
right.
this new business, home-based business. Oh, I can be this and I can get this and I can get this. And how many people have so much junk in their house from their home-based businesses when they're young? Like, I've done
Yeah.
that. I don't know about you,
And
but I've I've done all
I was a
kinds of
beach body coach, and
right.
part of what I did as a beach body coach, there's an expectation that you have a certain amount of, like, you
Um,
purchase a certain amount every month. And
yeah,
I would buy the Shakeology, and I'd buy the Shakeology, and it kept coming and coming every month. I'd get my bag of Shakeology.
you have so much
And
stuff.
when Hurricane Dorian hit the Bahamas,
Uh,
I donated like 6 months worth of Shakeology to the
right?
Bahamas because I was like, when I thought about it, I was like, what better thing to have if you're stuck on an island and you barely have drinking water, you barely have food to eat,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to like dig your stuff out and stuff, and people are sending you like canned green beans, right?
Yeah.
So the Shakeology, at least you can like shake it up with some water and you've got
Yeah.
something to eat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you get
And
your
it's got
protein.
protein in it, you
Yes.
know? But the fact is, yeah, you end up with a bunch of stuff in your house. And, but so the next thing I have people do is I have them build a team around their goals.
Mm.
So that gives you another way to jumpstart and to add knowledge. So, like you said, ask people, right?
Yeah.
So, if you have a big goal, a lot of people have a big goal and they have sort of this idea in their head of how you do it. And there's a general way that you could normally, like, that people do it. But if you talk to people who've actually done that thing,
Mm-hmm.
they may tell you, hey, there's a club that you can join where you can take those lessons for half the price. And there's a really cool community of people there.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever that thing might be. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I race sailboats, and there are so many people out there who want to learn how to sail, for instance, and they think they have to go and pay for lessons and do all these things that are really expensive and time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that, because a yacht club or a sailing club is behind gates and all, it's very private looking, it's very imposing, like they think people won't want them there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The truth is that people who race sailboats are desperate for crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They love people who come in and say, I want to learn to sail and I'd be happy to come and like sail on your boat every Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. It's hard to find crew.
Yep.
So, but a lot of people who don't know anything about that, they're paying for the courses and it's costing them like $500 every time they take a course. And yes, that's great. You get a certification and all that. But if you just want to try it, you don't have to do that. You
Mm-mm.
can just show up,
Mm-hmm.
literally show up and ask people.
Yep.
And you're going to get an invitation onto somebody's boat.
Exactly. But
But most people aren't aware of that. You have to just, all you had to do to know that is ask anybody who races sailboats, and anybody who does that would have told you that, you know? But most people don't do that. They're just like, oh, look it up somehow. How do I learn to sail? And it gives you some information about places that sell you lessons.
mm-hmm. Versus go to somebody who lives in dreams that knows the real world behind all that fluff, the marketing. It's like, nope, we
Right.
want hands on deck, all hands on deck.
Exactly.
But asking,
Exactly.
not being shy, not
Yeah.
making assumptions.
And so that way you're getting again, you're jump starting the process by
Mm-hmm.
knowing somebody or asking somebody. And what I tell my clients to do is I actually ask them to break down that personal and work barrier
Yeah,
by telling people at work, I'm really interested in learning how to sail. Do you know anybody who does that I could talk to?
exactly.
Maybe there's somebody at work who does do that, and you've created common ground with somebody at work, which is going to give you a friend, an ally, you know?
Yeah.
Or on the flip side of it, you go to some organization you're part of in your private life, or you go to your family members or whatever, and you say, hey, I'm really interested in doing XYZ for my career. And I'm not quite sure, I know there are things they tell me at work about what I need to do or whatever, but I need to start bringing in clients, or I need to learn more about X.
Mm,
Does anybody have any ideas? Well, maybe somebody knows somebody. And the next
exactly.
thing you know, you've got advice. You've got a mentor outside of the walls of your space.
And that brings connection. The fact that you have that
Yes.
shared common ground that's outside projects and deadlines, it brings some
Yeah.
kind of safety, some comfort, an
Right.
ally, right? I even at my one of my new workplaces, a medical director,
Mm-hmm.
they mentioned hiking, and I'm like, one of them nurses, she loves hiking. I'm like, I am going with you. Just let me know when. I have my hiking boots. I am
Excellent.
ready. Just bring your bear spray. You're gonna save me. But I am so everyone knows, like, yeah, Dr. Mitchell, she's gonna go hiking. Like, for real, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do it because it's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Like real hiking.
And that builds real
It
friendships.
does. It
And when
does.
people have real friendships at work, turnover stops happening as quickly or at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, people stay when they have people they want to stay for. They don't stay because of the job.
Mm.
They don't stay because you make the best widgets in town.
But the best
Like, you
pizza
know what I mean?
party.
They stay because they like the people they work with.
Yeah.
They are aligned with the mission of what the place is doing,
Yes.
hopefully.
Yes.
But, people stay because of people and they
Yeah.
leave because of people or lack of connection.
Yeah.
And if there's
100%.
no connection, it's all about the money.
Yeah, for sure. There
Then you
was,
better be able to outbid everybody else because otherwise you're going to lose your people.
oh, and then that's happening in many big Fortune 500 companies. There
Yeah,
was so much, they're throwing billion. I think it's one guy, they threw like they'll throw ridiculous amounts of money, but it's like, nope, that bridge is broken, damage is done. Bye. I'll do
right.
my
Or
own.
they just leave to go to the other company that's offering billions of dollars.
Exactly.
And they don't care because they've never developed that sense of loyalty and community.
Yeah, and speaking of loyalty and relationship, there's that Harvard study. It's 85-year plus longitudinal study about
Hmm.
like what secret sauce for life, what brings longevity. It's not wealth,
Yeah,
fame. It's the quality of your relationships,
it's all
right?
about
And that's
relationships.
why I tie relationships with burnout. Burnout is a result of the imbalance between three critical relationships. One is yourself, which you mentioned.
Right.
Your significant other or close confidence could be your work peeps, could be your partner, could be whoever. And then work in
Yeah.
society. If those three are out of whack and they can't support each other, like it's like a stool with three legs and one is kind of
Yeah.
wobbly, you put a little extra weight, it goes, it falls over. So it's
Right.
relationships with
Yeah.
yourself, your North Star, like you said at the beginning, right? You got to
Yeah.
start there. Look in, find yourself.
And know how to light yourself up because you can't ask other people to do that for you.
Yeah, you exact.
And if that means having a conversation with your boss where you say, you know what, I really love copywriting.
Mm-hmm.
I had so much fun when I was doing that, but now that I've been promoted, I never get to do that part anymore. Can we figure out a way that I can still do that in my job?
100%.
Or whatever that might be,
Mm-hmm.
you
No,
know?
I feel you.
And and there's probably a way to do that.
Mm-hmm. 100%. And bring some play in it too. So bring some
Yeah.
really playfulness, smiling, like happiness, spunk, because that
Yeah.
helps really change the vibe of the room you're entering.
And exactly, you want people to feel good at work, not
Yeah.
feel like they're, oh, this is due at 3 o'clock and you have to have it done. Like, hurry
Yeah.
up.
Yes. Everyone's a deadline and employee number. Hmm.
And that's good. You got to get stuff done, but at the same time, and then you're getting pinged by the text and you're getting, did you get my text? Did you get my text? Well, nope, because I didn't look at it yet.
And
You
they
know?
soon they get to know that you're gonna reply, but this is your window. So they just like
Right.
sit with your door, your chair facing like against like behind and from the door. So they're seeing like, okay, she's on the computer working. Let's not bother. It's like, yeah, don't bother me because you're consistent and you're
Right.
teaching other people how to treat you because
And
you're
you're doing
showing up.
it in a kind way.
Yeah.
It isn't dismissive or
No.
rude.
Mm-hmm.
It's just saying, I'm focused right now
Yeah.
and I'm getting 3 times as much done in this hour than if I was letting my emails ping up in my face and I was calling you back because you texted me and I had to answer right away.
And then playing phone tag and all that stuff versus just set a meeting time and just deal with it.
Right.
Right.
I
Well,
had someone who worked with me at one point who made this big point of it's like typical male lawyer stuff.
hmm
Um, Calling his secretary to ask his secretary to get someone on the phone for him.
Oh yeah.
And I was sitting in his office when he did it and I let him have it
hmm
because I was like, we have an electronic system that has everybody's phone numbers in it, you
Use
know?
it.
And I was like, why are you asking her to do that? Now, I knew that that secretary was actually preparing an appellate brief, which is really hard. It's like detail oriented from hell,
hmm
okay? And you have to tag things into the document so that everything comes up in the right places and she was a master at that. But she was working on that and he's calling her saying, "Can you get somebody to on the phone for me?"
No, no, no,
And
no.
I was like, listen, there is not one person in this office. If it was more time efficient for her to look that up for you and make that call for you, I would say, okay, that makes sense. But she's right now working on something that's dependent on her focus
hmm
and dependent on her attention to detail. And
hmm
you're pulling her away to do something that you could do yourself in less time than it's taking you to pick up the phone and ask her to do it for you.
Yeah. hmm
Why? Right? And delegation is awesome when it makes sense.
When it makes sense.
But that kind of thing just doesn't, to me,
Mm-mm.
that doesn't make sense, period, ever.
I agree. I agree. So with all those people, those who are, I wouldn't say old school, but way of thinking, no,
I mean, this
everyone's
guy
time.
was this guy was like 15 years younger than me.
Oh
And I'm
wow.
like, dude, you're an old man. Stop this.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unacceptable. It was really unacceptable. And,
And that goes
but
back
it
to understanding
happens.
everyone's role. Like everyone has an important role. If not, they have to, you have to, like everyone's role should be important and why are they there? So we
Right,
have to be respectful
exactly.
of what they're doing and everyone's focus. Because if everyone's working well, like well-oiled car, well serviced, it just drives smoother. But when that
Yeah,
stopped, it's like really you didn't have to. You couldn't use the bathroom like 5 minutes ago. We got gas. Now you got to go now. Like when we said it went like yeah.
exactly. So, that's the other kind of thing that if you're using your time wisely, you're delegating things and you're delegating a whole piece of something to someone who can take ownership of it.
Mm,
You're not delegating something that's so small that it's
yeah.
just wasting your time and wasting their time.
Yes, I remember as a kid, my parents, my dad used to call us to go say, okay, he wants more water in his glass, so I'll go fill it up. And I got so tired of him always calling me, so I put a pitcher next to him, thinking like, Dad, like you can go put your water in. Did he? No, he called me to come fill his cup. Doesn't do that anymore because I think he knows better. But when I was young, I'm doing my homework. How am I supposed to get A's here? How am I supposed
Yeah. It's like I'm studying dad. I'm not your like pop up like I'm gonna,
right?
get your glass of water girl. I had a funny experience with something similar to that. When I was 15, I went to Spain and I met this guy and he was adorable and I totally fell in love with him. And 5 years later, I was studying in Barcelona
Mm-hmm.
and he invited me to come spend the weekend with his family in Valencia.
Mm-hmm.
And his parents had split up and gotten back together again.
Okay.
And when that had happened, his mom had become, especially for, what had been, she had been like the traditional Spanish housewife mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they split up, she'd opened up a boutique and she
Mm.
like had her own thing. And she's like, I'm not taking that anymore. Right.
Mm.
And his sister like totally learned from that.
Mm.
So his sister was a few years older than us. And meanwhile, the dad is still used to being like the,
Head charge
like
uncle. Like,
I say jump and you ask how
how
high,
high
right?
now?
And we were all sitting around the table before dinner, and dad looked at his sister and asked her to get him a glass of water. And her response was, you have legs, don't you?
I knew it. Like, yes.
That was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And, he kind of looked surprised and he's like, yeah. And he
That's
got up and
right.
he got his own water, but it was funny because he was still kind of getting used to not being able to rule and tell everybody to jump for him and they would do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was very funny and it was very out of context for Spain at the time. This was in
Uh-huh.
the early 80s and it was like,
That's a
people
no
there
no.
just weren't like that then.
Don't
It was funny.
don't say that. I know, same. I wouldn't have lived if I had said that.
Yeah.
So, but now, no, 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 we know better. Delegate. Everyone's time matters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've really enjoyed this conversation. I know our listeners have. For those who are interested in having you coach or maybe do a keynote, how do they get a hold of you?
Okay, so two ways, and I think I gave you this information, but if I didn't, we'll get it to you so
No
that you can
worries.
put it in the
Yeah,
show
I'll put in the
notes.
show notes. Yeah.
Yeah, so in your show notes, you're going to have a way to get to my website and particularly to a community page in my website because I want people to have that clarity exercise that I do
Mm.
and the sword form.
Okay.
So they'll have access to that.
Okay.
And if I guess it probably works from Canada. In the United States, it definitely does. I have a text number that can be used as well. If you're in the United States, I know for sure you can use it.
Mm-hmm.
That text number is 33777 and text the word clarity to 33777. And that'll put you into a fill-in form where you just all I need is your name and your email.
Sorry, 33777.
Correct.
All right.
And that'll get you connected to the website so that you can be part of that community. And you get free access that way. I do keynotes and I do workshops in companies as well as coaching.
Right.
So, corporate workshops, I can tailor it to what somebody's needs.
Mm-hmm.
And the keynotes, I tend to talk about the art of bending time and how that works. It turns out to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Especially when you just mine it and you get so much nuggets and gold and just like it's just like a
And we can do some fun stuff with audience participation with that too when I do the keynotes. So
no,
that's fun.
that sounds good. It's good to know, good to remember for even for my own resources if I ever hosting an event. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you being here, and I know our listeners enjoyed it. And again, listeners, I don't take you for granted, and I appreciate you spending your most precious resource with us, which is actually your time. So, thank you. Feel free to share, like this podcast. I look forward to seeing your emails and your comments. That really helps me continue to do this because it's not easy running a podcast. I think this is our fourth year, going on fifth. I think
It's a lot of work.
it's a lot of
A
work. Like
ton of work.
it's a lot of work. Most podcasts fizzle out after like I think 6 episodes. We're well over I don't know over 100. I don't know how many. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
No, it's a ton of work. And I'm sure
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun, but it's
hundreds.
also a ton of work. And
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes. Anyway, well, thank you again, and thank you, Michelle, for being here. To our listeners, take care, stay healthy, and just remember, get back to the basics. It's not going to be something you will regret. Your future self will thank you so much. Till next time, this is your host, Dr. Tomi Mitchell, from the Mental Health and Wellness Show.
it's so
Bye.
nice meeting you. Bye.
Thank you.